Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ikram Hadri Ruzaini. We would like to present about our ELC650 work, which is task 2 presentation. The title is Consideration for Professional Interaction. Muhammad Hadri Ruzaini, and my other members, which is Muhammad Ikram bin Hadri, Muhammad Farizuddin bin Muhammad Zulkifli, and Muhammad Ruzaini bin Rosad. In my slide, there will be consideration for professional interaction, details related to the accountability, problem related to the accountability, importance of accountability in work environment, and lastly is the references. So first of all is consideration for professional interaction. First, professional interaction is a set of traits known as professionalism that demonstrate your capacity to behave respectfully, dependably, and diligently in formal contexts. Success in the job depends on establishing and upholding professional behavior. Your level of professionalism is influenced by how you carry yourself, interact with others, and approach jobs. So we are going to present five traits that known five traits in professional interaction, which is accountability, competence, ethics, poise, and etiquette. Uh, okay, first is I will present about the detail related to the accountability. What is accountability? Accountability is an acceptance of responsibility for honest and ethical conduct toward others by Will 2022. There are some types of accountability such as setting deadlines, delegating tasks, defining ownership, and rewarding success. Here are some examples of characteristics of accountability. First is take responsibility for action. If from 2016 say that employees should resist the urge to take the fall when it is not your fault. Be ready to discuss what went wrong and to identify potential fixes. She also said that characteristics of accountability is don't blame others or make excuses. Making explanation or blaming might occasionally be appealing when one is unfairly on the receiving end of criticism. Next is the process of accountability. First is the sequence of opening an account. The emphasis on the symbolic force of accounts in summoning another to reply on the basis of trust, criticism, failure, and question is placed by the order of initiation. Next is the sequence of closing an account. People detail their replies to justification, apologize, refusal, or defense in the order of resolution by Hossein 2003. Next is the problem related to accountability. First is by Martin 2022. Uh, some workers use excuses and that may produce lack of productivity. The second is from Hiba 2022. When the workers are not accountability, it is impossible to build a high performing team. Lastly, by Mike 2020, because of the loose respect from the other workers to other workers, there might be accused bullying and harassment in the environment. Next is the importance of accountability in workplace environment. Bill Clinton from 2022 said that workers are less likely to abuse company property because they are responsible to their work. The one from Hiba 2022, when people are responsible to each other, trust is built in their team. So lastly is the references. Here are some references that I got from my research. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Ikram bin Muhammad Farzi. Now I will be presenting a topic about competence. I will be explaining about the definition of competence, type of competence, characteristic, process, problem, and importance of competence. So the definition of competence is a coherent set of specialized knowledge, abilities, attitudes, and output that are essential for performing a given professional function. Next, there are three types of competence, which is behavioral competencies. Behavioral competencies is a manifestation of the soft skills needed for effective employee performance. Next is technical competencies. It focuses on efficient use of computer and IT system or any other hard skills required for a particular role. Lastly, leadership competencies. It is a manifestation of the traits that make us a strong leader into measurable action. Next, there are several characteristics of competent communication that we must understand. First, we must understand the intent of our message. Having a competent communication start with understanding the intent of our message. So every communication have some sort of intended response by other party. By being aware of the message purpose, especially when sending it to multiple people at once, can be quite helpful in crafting the message effectively. Next, we need to have adaptability in communicate. We are required to adapt our ways of communicating depends on who are we talking, what message we want to convey, and what platform that we use. So that's why adaptability is one of the most important characteristic of competent communication. Moreover, we need to understand what is cognitive complexity. Cognitive complexity is a measurement of a person's capacities toward multiple perspective. Communication cross-cultural, subcultural, and even co-cultural boundaries. So it is important for us to remember that everyone has different perspective on the world. That's why a competent person can understand other people as perspective and respect them. All of this is a characteristic of competent communication. Next is the process on how to become a competent communicator. The first process of competent is to build up our cognitive knowledge based of communication concept and practice and reflect our skill in particular area until we exhibit unconscious incompetence, which means we are not aware that we are communicating in an incompetent manner. After that, we need to learn more about communication and vocabulary to identify concept, as we may find ourselves exhibit conscious incompetence. This is where we understand that we are not doing well and we need to improve ourselves. Next, as our skill is increasing, we reach a point to conscious competence. That means we know where we are and how we communicate well in the moment. We need to increase our experience to be a competent communicator. Lastly, we need to repeat all of the stages of competence until we become until we can communicate without straining to be competent. This is the process of competent communication according to Hadri, written in 2011. Next is the problem faced by competence. This is a problem that we need to overcome in order to communicate competently. The problem that we face is communication apprehension. Communication apprehension is a fear or anxiety faced by a current person when they are actual or imagined to communicate with other persons. So a report showed that 15 to 20% of college students face high rate of communication apprehension, while the other 70% of it experience some trait of communication apprehension. When people are faced with a real or imagined presentation, they face with public speaking anxiety. It is a kind of communication apprehension which can result in psychological, cognitive, and behavioral reaction in them. This problem also can cause others to have unfavorable ideas about our communication skill, even if we are well informed and motivated and prepared. So this problem can cause us to speak with anxiety that can hinder our communication, that will cause people to view us in a way that we are not meant. This is a challenge we need to overcome in order to communicate competently. Lastly, I will be explaining about the importance of competence. So there are many factors of the importance of competence. For starter, clear and creative thinking as well as fluid thought process depend on good communication. Competent communication abilities also help individuals better understand other person and form bond with another one, and can help us collaborate as a team. Next, competent communicator make better leaders who can easily understand and explain their vision and objective to other people. Finally, competent communicator are more convincing and negotiate more successfully. Anyone who want to succeed at work must be able to communicate competently.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ruzaini bin Roslan. My matrix number is 2020813292. I will present the subtopic for interpersonal and considerations, which is ethics. Okay, first let's take a look about the definition of ethics. What is ethics? Ethics refers to a set of guidelines that people must voluntarily abide by when performing professional work in accordance with the voice of their conscience and nature, without any external requirement or threat of legal repercussions if they don't. Next is type of ethics. There are several types of ethics. First is integrity. Integrity is an attribute of being honest and having strong moral values. A personal code of behavior that goes above the level of good conduct and embrace the spirit of good conduct. Next is honesty. Honesty is typically done without intending to lie, cheat, or engage in any other sort of falsification. Other than that is discipline. Discipline is where one must finish their task on time and with good execution. Furthermore is fair and respect. Fair and respect is to make sure everything we do is righteous and respectful. Lastly is responsible and accountable. It involves showing up for work on time and give the assignments the best effort they are capable of. Next, let's take a look about the characteristic of ethics. Firstly is elegance. It is to efficiently diagnose problems, be simple to understand, relevant to the entire organization and all personnel. Next is accessibility. It is being simple to use, widely advertised, and available to all staff. Other than that is correctness. It means to be effectively managed and includes complaints follow-up. Furthermore is responsiveness. It is to be on time, be receptive, be utilized by management, and produce outcomes. Lastly is non-putativeness. This means to be protected from reprisals and remain nameless. Besides, the managers and staff members also need to be safeguarded. Next is process of ethics. There are six processes that involve in ethics. The first process is to specify the precise circumstance we are in and the reason it can raise moral questions. The next process is to determine the internal and external influences. Next is to identify the important and main key of the issues. Next is to determine the group of people who will be impacted by our choice. The next process is to choose the ethical principles and criteria to guide us. And the final process will be to decide and explain our choice that we chose in the process before. Next is the problems in applying ethics. The first problem is it needs management full support in order to be successful. Conflicting moral standards may lead to confusion at work if management team members want to run their departments according to their own interpretation of corporate ethics. Other than that, it can be expensive and time-consuming to create, implement, and maintain an ethics compliance program within our company. As the corporation expands, ethics policies must be continuously updated to reflect modifications to labor laws and adjustment to our company culture. Lastly, let's take a look about the importance of ethics. First, it can build a positive corporate culture. When team members feel safe from being punished for their personal opinions, morale increases. Next, it can reduce financial liabilities. A decline in sale may be evidence of this. For instance, if a real estate development project shrinks the size of an animal sanctuary, the company could lose revenue and clientele. Finally, ethics can minimize potential lawsuit. Disgruntled employees or customers who allege discrimination can happen to any company. Due to their improper handling of charges and harassment claims, CEOs, politicians, and celebrities are losing their jobs as a result of workplace sexual discrimination. Organizations are required to have policies and processes that address various forms of discrimination and harassment. I think that is all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Farizuddin, and today I will continue our presentation with poise. What is poise? Poise is a calm confidence in a person's way of behaving, or a quality of grace and balance in the way a person holds or moves their body. Poise characteristics. There are four, which is self-assured, composed, calm, and dignified. Voice types. There are two types of voice, which is body language and dress code. There are subtypes for body language, which is the first one, gestures, facial expression, posture, and eye contact. Right. Body language gestures. Gestures can make communicate better by using gestures. They draw in your audience and make your speech more memorable. Researchers has repeatedly discovered that motion give your words more authority, enhance information clarity, and increase the recall of your words. Next is body language, facial expression. One of your best non-verbal communication instruments is your face. Your facial expressions must convey passion and emotion. To establish a successful non-verbal communication connection, it is crucial to use facial expression to respond to what you are saying. Next, body language postures. Your posture can demonstrate your enthusiasm, ease, wisdom, and confidence. Your posture also demonstrates your credibility. Leaning back, slouching, and leaning on one knee all demonstrate disinterest and damage your trustworthiness. Next, body language, eye contact. Try to make eye contact with everyone in the room if the audience is small. If the audience is larger, make intentional eye contact with someone in each area. Making eye contact with your audience will help you establish credibility and a connection. Dress code. What you dress to various job hunting events communicates professionalism, neatness, and a grasp of standard business practice. Keep to formal business dress for events that are more general in nature, including career fairs or networking events. Problems in poise. The first one, it is hard to stay poised when under pressure situation at work. The second one, it is tiring to maintain a poise all the time. Importance of poise. Poise can help you gain credibility, give you charisma, and elevate your present and successes, stated by Kelly Dugan in 2017. It gives people the confidence and fortitude to face any day or circumstance by enabling gift to shine, knowledge to be heard, and leaders to lead. Poise is critical to the job search. Good poise complements and supports the other job search fundamentals, while lack of poise distracts from them. I think that's all for me.
So the next topic that I will be presenting is etiquette. The definition of etiquette is an act of acting appropriately in the workplace so that it is courteous, respectful, and enjoyable place to be. There are many variations in etiquette depending on our workplace and business. The first type of etiquette that we need to understand is email etiquette. A good email etiquette include mass mailing avoidance, mentioning the recipient full names, express gratitude. Next is social media etiquette. Some example of social media etiquette are to respond politely, to adverse comment responding at the earliest, get genderless, and never tarnish competitors and rivals. The next type of etiquette is customer service etiquette. This involves in greeting all customers with smile, be very patient, and speak amicably. Finally, the final type of etiquette is workplace etiquette. There are a few things that we can do for workplace etiquette, such as to inform all staff about do's and don'ts at the office. Other than that, we can encourage a system of greeting one another and maintaining a proper dress code. Next, I will be explaining about the characteristic of etiquette. There are three characteristics of etiquette, which is respect, honesty, and consideration. Respect entails recognizing another person's values and taking deliberate steps to demonstrate your concern for them. This etiquette rule can be communicated by acting in a ways like giving full attention to someone, not interrupting when someone is speaking or working, and shaking hands. Consideration entails acting with thoughtfulness when engaging with others and demonstrating empathy for others. Saying please and thank you, holding a door open for someone, and saying excuse me are the example of consideration. Being truthful, sincere, and acting with integrity are all aspects of being honest. For example, giving praise, not lying or cheating to get ahead, and not participating in a gossip. Next is the process and step that we can take to improve our etiquette in workplace. First is to keep it simple. Building awareness of the benefit of keeping things simple while focusing on maximizing realized value for the end user is a good business etiquette. In this context, next is to understand the overall picture. It is critical that engineers take their time to understand how their work affect the business, particularly on how decisions they make upstream have an impact. Other than that, we need to be proactive with our communication. When we respect the other team members, especially when we are running behind schedule on a deadline, we will communicate proactively to ensure that the team is ready. Next, we must focus on handshake and eye contact. In order to establish a professional first impression, a firm handshake is required according to good business ethic. In fact, it's typical to hear from business executives that weak handshake can make or break an applicant's chance of landing job. Finally, first impression are very important in business etiquette. The way that we present ourselves to other people, particularly on first encounter, can make a break on how someone perceives us. We need to learn other people's names, extend handshake, and greet them. Next, we'll be explaining about the problem that face by etiquette. Many report a lack of etiquette in professional correspondence, including letters and emails, as well as among staff employees. Additionally, everyone mentioned improper cell phone use at work, the difficulty of some new recruits to engage professionally with clients led to many respondents feeling ashamed to invite them to specific uh, professional activities or work events. Next is the importance of etiquette. Etiquette is a crucial tool for every organization. This focus on corporate etiquette. It is important for a number of reasons, such as internal and external communication is facilitated by following business etiquette. Additionally, business ethics promotes the development of common business practice throughout your whole organization hierarchy. Next, a good business manners foster a positive work environment and increase employee confidence. Besides that, business with excellent business manners are less vulnerable to legal action and bad press. Finally, a good business etiquette help us improving understanding of client, associate, and overseas trading partners. I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening.